Hi, Aries. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're excited about this new year. Taking all that you have learned and applying it, and then becoming new parts of you too. That'll be cool. So nice to have you. Okay, so I guess we'll jump right in because I want to use the time as appropriately as we can. So everyone received 4 two-word phrases, and yours are right place, in time, walking sticks, plural, which I like that one. We can talk about it in a second. And then nice house. I like these. Walking sticks is really cool to me because this is a tool, right? It can help you get from point A to point B. It can also reach things that are up high. You can start it on fire if you're cold, right? You can suspend things from it, and there's multiple of them. So I also saw this as other people too, having what you need in walking together, right? I guess it's also a kind of gathering. Okay, I guess we're gonna go month to month. And I will make a timestamp below. This year I'm trying to do this. Perhaps it will be more helpful for you, or we'll break up the months so you can reference later if you so do desire. Aries. Okay, January. Ooh, the sun and the chariot. Wow, can you see that? The sun and the chariot. It's sort of like the sun and the moon. This is also light upon the journey. Just a second. January, Aries. What is this saying? Oh, you're thinking about this chariot isn't actually moving. It's still. Well, I guess you're coming into this year feeling really confident, but also maybe wondering on new means of expressing, like creative expression in some kind of way. Maybe changing a little bit of your day-to-day also with the sun and this moon is like, because you're wanting the right place in time, right? And I actually tried to wear this necklace that usually is a bell. It's like a little Buddhist bell that when it jingles, then it kind of keeps you, I don't have a bell right now, but it puts you back in your body, right? So that you can realize like where you are, which brings appreciation, right? It makes one feel more confident about where they are. And it kind of keeps a time, right? So yeah, maybe checking in on your day-to-day could be something that's really good. What are you doing during the day? And you definitely have a big goal. What is that? Say from now, I see like a half-year goal. Something around July, August, January has to do with as well. So be patient, I guess, between now, then. I want to see February because it's looking over at it. Oh, the 7th house and the 9 of Wands. Okay. Well, it's like something sort of confusing because it feels like it's going backwards. Oh, better to speak from your heart in January too, in relation to other people, especially when Venus is in retrograde. Then, right? You wanna. I heard squash the squabbles, or kind of air things out, but it comes out of a really loving space. It's sort of just a person being like expressing their own individuality in something, not trying to make it an ego thing necessarily. Does this make sense? So February, I guess communications where relating to others could be a little bit challenging. What's that about? Sun. But I guess it has to do with others versus you necessarily. And the sun was also in January. There's such you're bringing a lot of light into it. I guess if it is difficult in working with other people for some reason or another, there feels like there's a little bit of friction, but it needs to be done, then maybe this is sort of delegating tasks on like what, looking at what needs to be done, and then who's good at that. Do you know what I mean? Or where is your power within that? Let's keep moving. March. Ooh, Venus with the Ace of Wands. Wow. Just a second. The way I laid out the cards is different than the way I did everybody else. And it's like pulling it back kind of into the past. Oh, and we can resolve this issue too by just rearranging. 2016? 2016. So you can try something out, right? And it may even be a thing that you already have done. But if it doesn't feel the way you want it to feel, I guess, then just kind of like go back. Almost like go back to what you know, like what your strong suit is in something. Find that, because that will help you feel more grounded, so that I heard your spirit's in a line in time. Interesting, Aries. Thank you. So creative. What are you doing creatively too? That's a question. Like, regardless, you're a mother, you're a lover, you're a father, all these things you gotta do. What are you doing for yourself too? That like fuels your fire. March has some energy around that. And I see any of those little troubles we talked about or difficulties with other people, that smooths itself out. This could be a really, really beautiful creative project too. Let's see, this is going into April. The Ace of Swords in the first house. Wow. So you just received 2 aces in a row. Just a second. Oh, this is when you finally fold into a new part of you. Fold into a new part of you. Where that I am, right, that's your nomenclature. Can we use that word? There's something more fine about it, or there's more finesse in something. There's definitely like a change of attitude about something too, which is, I'm seeing as a positive thing. You may get your hair cut then. Or having something to do with your physical appearance too. There could be like a shift in something, or maybe you just go through. I heard go through you, or go through your things, something like that. This would also be a wonderful time to play the I am game, if you know what that is. It's like you gain a truth. Or you receive a reward. It's actually kind of like a reward. I would also say for being patient as well, and practicing communicating how you really feel, because that's hard. When you have responsibilities, right? A lot of opportunity here. Okay, let's go into May. Okay, void of course. It's when the moon's in between signs, shifting spaces, and the Six of Pentacles. Okay. This has something to do with the in time. But the people with the walking sticks are sort of almost like the Chariot there, where it was kind of stopped for a second and observing. Looking at the void of course calendar also for May could be helpful. It's usually a time where you can clean up loose ends or sort of complete things, but starting anything new, getting a new client, like signing a new contract, whatever, trying to it can like halt this or make it more difficult to be smooth later. So I guess if you're handling the little things, like organize things, especially when it comes to work. I guess that's kind of the thing when if you get into a place where you feel like you can't do something new, I heard, or do what you want to do. Well, I'm seeing there's always something to do. And this goes back into what we talked about earlier, where you find your strong suit, right? Go back into that. Okay. I wouldn't lend any money during this time either. And I guess this is a time to remember that you have to take care of, if you have enough to give, please give. But you have to make sure that, I heard, you and yours have what you need, right? And then, because if we know what we need as these little circles, then those all interconnect, and then we can help each other too in a wider sense, right? January, February, March, April, May, June. Stellium in the second house. Okay. Stellium in the Two of Wands. Most of your cards are leaning towards the left. So this is about receiving, right? It's about the moon, I guess, too. And then I heard, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You have an opportunity here too, right? Ace of Wands turns into Two of Wands. So you do pick it up. You do end up with that blessing, which is a kind of energy, right? And it's with Venus, so it's a loving energy. It's creative. But it takes a couple months for that to become something that's a little bit more tangible. And maybe for some of you, this is something where you're like, well, how much should I invest? Now, there could be something that you cannot see. I heard financially. So maybe you want to wait or go over something a couple times, 2-3 times. You know, you have a contract, read it 2-3 times. You have a plan. I see a budget. Like you go over that because you have some sort of opportunity here. Again, in receiving something, but it comes through your effort. Let's see. July. Okay. 5th house and the Hermit. That's your second major to come out. He's also facing left. Well, this is about creation, right? But it's with the Hermit, so it's like you're still pondering here something. And I feel like you have the capacity to ponder because if you start out with the Chariot and the Sun, this means that you feel confident in who you are, that you feel, this is about emotional security too, like you love yourself, you know, you love your family. There's a lot of forgiveness. There's a lot of, and we go from the 7 to the 9, which is the High Priestess in between. So I guess you already know what you know what I'm saying? You already know what I'm saying. So, because maybe this blessing that's coming to you, this opportunity is because you asked for it before, and it's not something that, like, an idea that you scrapped. This is so interesting. It's not an idea that you scrapped. It's almost like you make a wish and you put the message in the bottle and you throw it into the sea and then go on with your life. And then all of a sudden I heard there it shall be. I love you, Aries. I guess this could be a beautiful love affair with Virgo. This could also be a really amazing, maybe this is also like creativity that comes from a very spiritual space, regardless of what you're doing, you know? I guess this is also a little bit of very serious and very playful too, right? Like elder and child. I guess that's an influence here. So I guess make sure you're having fun if you are being really serious, or if somebody's in the family's working, like say the child is like missing the dad, or like somebody's missing somebody here because they're off doing whatever they're doing. Like, I guess it would be good to explain. 2 of Swords, like, or like if there's a space in between, it's like, well, I guess this is also how someone finds their creativity, is through solitude. Through, I heard simpleness, versus say like socialization. Okay. August. 2nd house with the 7 of Cups. Just a second. whatever you were contemplating in July, the middle of the year or so, like what you can do with what you have, that's still a contemplative place. And you could have put your energy out and actually created a lot of something. But then you're sort of, don't rush the choice though. In August, there are many things that are being offered, and maybe I heard maybe there's something about streamlining something. The creme de the creme, like you're picking out, you're trying to pick out what's best, but you have to feel it to be able to know what's a good idea or not, or whether it's like yeah, you have to figure out how it feels. This is the first card that looks into the past, too. I see. Remember January. Remember the beginning of the year. Maybe this is goals that you made then, or what you were wanting to feel, right? Because we just said you have to feel it. And so, I guess remember, anytime you want to feel any kind of particular way, you can just make yourself feel that way. Or it can shift it enough to, you have that power. And I guess this is a good time of reflection. And then maybe you want to look at, for instance, like how have the months gone as you've gone along? What people have you hung out with, or how have things grown? How's the building process going? It's almost like improvements. September. Ooh, conjunction with the King of Pentacles. Interesting. September. Well, you may be wanting space. Someone may be wanting space. There could also be a strong concentration of money that comes to you, or something of a material nature. It would be in your best interest to keep what you have. But you also have something greatly to offer. There's definitely a strong concentration here of achieving something again, like doing physical things, or you've worked it, because you go from the Six of Pentacles to the King. If you are, whatever you're involved with interpersonally also, this could also be romantically, in addition, another layer, but this could be a time of trying to find, like, looking at the autonomy of yourself, or the sort of individual expression, right? Sometimes, like, have you ever seen couples that have been together for a really long time? They even dress the same. Like, things can sort of get wrapped up. We start using other people's language. That's what we do, right? Because we're animals. So maybe there's a little bit of, well, again, who you are now, right? 6 months ago was the Sword. Who you are now, and how does that connect and create more motivation to create. And I do see great stability here as well. So I guess this also means that if you take that 2 months, what is this? September, October, or September, August, July, June. June and July, which is Cancer, Leo, right? Be chill in that time. Really, really contemplate. Like, not to get too much into your head, but to be creative about it, right? Okay, October. Wheel of Fortune and the waxing crescent. Just a second. Wheel of October, right? There could be some growth at work. Maybe you're rewarded for something, or someone likes an idea of yours. There's a good idea. You could also be very accomplished, right? You just did this King of Pentacles. Maybe somebody's admired for their work. And there's definitely a really beautiful learning. Crescent moons are quite magical. They maybe this is some sort of expansion in you emotionally, spiritually, this kind of growth and creativity as well, that's also helping. Well, that helps the world. Stay more imbalanced. It helps the world be in balance. It's funny how imbalance is N, right? But imbalance is M. It's so close, and it even sounds the same. It's funny that they created it that way. Maybe these are the kinds of things where you're just putting together little things and starting to realize the smaller parts, and it really is helping. And I do actually see growth at work, or there's something where you could be really inspired by just being outside, like being out in the world, especially during the day. I suppose this could also be getting your schedule more in order too. You know what I mean? Not to necessarily do like constantly be doing, but do what you need to do so you can also just be. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so much time in the day. Let's see November. Chiron with the Temperance card. Well, that's very beautiful and healing. I guess this could be specific to Chiron in Virgo or in Sagittarius. Well, you jump from the 10 to the 4, right? So there's the Emperor, there's your card. So I guess you do gain another kind of level of who you are. Now, what's interesting about this is it reminds me that, like, when someone asks God who they are, who he is, and God just says, I am. And I feel like we've talked about this before. It's almost like, and someone commented, I forget who it is, I'm sorry, but it was like so poignant. Every time we say, I am, which in essence, I guess, is also you are, is how we see creation. Do you know what I mean? I feel like usually, wounded, the Chiron can be the wounded healer, but this is really lovely. I feel like this is a really nice, it's a healing. It doesn't just help you either. It helps, there's a wider point here. 8. Take your time to pray in this time too, because I guess you could also really do there's some settling into some really pretty places here. All right, December. The full moon and judgment. Wow. What a close, Aries. I love it when you're a little dramatic. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 majors. 5 majors. So that's the Heirophant, right? And the Temperance card. And she's here. Okay. So you think it's more of a male. So December. Well, you have 2 angels in a row. And it's like an earth angel. And then like an ethereal, like a ether. So you have help coming from all these places. I do feel as if this is also kind of a reward for an achievement. And I do feel like there's a great blessing. This is also another big expression of like a spiritual sort of awakening. You know, and if you are already, I guess, not to use the nomenclature of the day, but like if you are awake, which I guess is basic, right? You're sleeping or you're awake, one or the other. And that's why it's important to get dressed, because then we get out of our pajamas and we wake up, right? But it's another level of, I guess, not just knowing something intellectually, but having it be more like the body having a pure connection to something. Like realizing that you're like really not just knowing that we are safe and loved and protected, but really feeling that. Do you know what I mean? Or creating that for yourself, because I guess we all have weaknesses sometimes that can make us feel that even when we know that we are that. Does it make sense? We can mirror world ourselves, and reality is really trippy, right? So the spiritual space is so very important, right? Because if we don't talk to God, well, I guess then the important thing is that connecting in these spaces causes a sacred union between this life and wherever we came from, or wherever we're going back to, depending on what you believe. And of course, that is going to relate back in our interpersonal relationships with other people here on Earth, you know, and that's a really awesome thing to see each other as family and friends, you know. You're going in the right direction. And don't forget to ask for help when you need it, okay? I love you so very much. Thank you for such a wonderful last year. I thought it was full of growth, and there's I feel like a lot of people got really clear on a lot of places in themselves, and I like that. I mean, staying open-minded, of course, you know, to the, you know, not being too in the box about things, and that helps, but also giving it structure, you know, to exist within. It's awesome. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for your awesome lessons and your love, of course, and support. Any of you I've worked with personally, too, thank you. Taking that extra step. Also, Patreon, really, really cool. You know, making even your decision to show up here, you know, and especially any of you who's still here. Thank you. I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.